What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Keanu Reeves film, John Wick Chapter 2. John Wick Chapter 2 is the sequel to the breakout hit John Wick from 2014. It is the same director, Chad Stahelski. It also stars Keanu Reeves, who is coming back to reprise his role as John Wick. The movie shows John Wick starting from basically where the first film left off. We get to see him attempt to retire, and then he is pulled back into the fold by a debt that someone is owed that he has to pay back, basically. And the story is much more fluid, so that's all I'm really going to say. This film definitely goes multiple directions, unlike the first one. The two things that have to be brought up, obviously right off the bat, are Keanu Reeves, number one, is amazing in this movie. He's great, as he was in the first John Wick. I'm a fan of Keanu Reeves, and I adore John Wick number one. I think it's so good, and I think that this one was definitely a worthy successor to it. Keanu Reeves is phenomenal. He does almost all of his own stunts in this film, which is so impressive, and it makes the movie that much more real. And then to go along with the stunts comes with the direction and the action. This movie's action and stunts are so visceral and so in your face, and it's so impossible to imagine that they aren't real because the director actually shows you what's going on. This movie may have better action than the first John Wick, which I didn't think I could possibly say because John Wick 1 has such amazing action. But this movie does exactly what a great action movie should do. It shows you the action. It doesn't try to hide it behind camera tricks and a bunch of bullshit. They show people falling down the stairs. They show John Wick fucking karate fighting people. It's amazing. If you love action movies and you don't love John Wick, I don't understand what's wrong with you. The choreography and gunplay and all of the scenes is so good, and it looks so real, and I really love that. There's a lot more hand-to-hand combat in this film, and it all looks great. Keanu Reeves is so good in this role. He's so good at being willing to do his own stunts and fight with these stuntmen in these scenes. There's also a scene at the end of this film that is a technical feat in a film if I have ever seen one. The mirror sequence in this movie is amazing. It is easily on par with the Enter the Dragon mirror sequence, the Bruce Lee film. It is so good, and it's such an awesome setting to have all of this great John Wick action take place in. It continues to grow this immersive world from the first John Wick film, adding more characters, more places, more small little details. And to be fair, this movie did invest in a lot of side characters, and I feel like maybe as a negative to the film, it did put a few too many side characters, I'd say, in this film. I did enjoy Ruby Rose, and I enjoyed Common in the film, but there's also other ones that are introduced that really don't play any major part in the story, and maybe could have been left out because they just add extra fat to the film that could have been trimmed. The movie also carries over nuances and small references to the first film that mean that much more if you're a big fan of the first John Wick film, and the best thing about this movie, with the exception of obviously the action and Keanu Reeves, is it still feels fresh. This is a sequel to a movie that came out 3 years ago, and this movie feels so necessary. It feels real. It feels good. It's fun. It's action-packed. It doesn't feel like it was an unnecessary sequel. The one thing that I do have to say, though, is I really love that even though this is a sequel about a character who's just super duper good at killing people, at heart, the film is about a man who's broken. It's about a guy who is struggling to live out his life the way that he wants to because he is stricken with sadness and strife constantly. And Keanu Reeves really sells that in this film, and I think the whole script of this film sells it. My only issue with this film is sort of something that goes together. It's that the villain is weaker than the first. He doesn't carry the same punch that the original villain did in the first John Wick film. And then the motives for John Wick in this movie aren't as strong as the first. They still get the job done, and I understand why he's doing what he does, because he has to. But compared to the motive of the first one, that was like, I totally get it, John. You go mess all those dudes up. This one doesn't have that strong of a motive. And then with the weaker villain, they sort of combine to add a little bit of a lackluster performance in that characterization. But they are still fun. The villain is still entertaining, and he gets the job done. And I also thought that the motive worked. It was enough. It's not like I was like, I don't understand this at all. I got why he was doing what he's doing. I think just compared to the first, it was a little bit of a downsize. I'm going to give John Wick Chapter 2 an A. This is an amazing action thrill ride with a great performance from Keanu Reeves, great stunts, great explosions and gunplay and everything that you could want from a great action film, John Wick is the greatest action series that is in existence right now. It's the only one that does everything right that an action movie is supposed to do right. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this review, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of John Wick Chapter 2, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.